Welcome you all in this class. Today we are going to learn another topic of capital, which is commonly known as cost of capital. What does it mean by cost of capital? In case of investing money for a particular project or for a particular business, each and every organization also needs to calculate that from where source such money will come, how they can accumulate that funds, how they can source the funds, what are the avenues of getting the funds. In that case, whatever funds or rather whatever capital they need to collect to invest for a particular project, for each and every capital must have certain cost. And in this chapter we are going to calculate that different kinds of cost of capital. In this chapter we are going to calculate that cost of capital. Now, whatever avenues or whatever funds are available in a particular organizations, we can categorize. Then before going to cost of capital, first we need to categorize the capital in case of business organizations. It is firmly believed that the capital can be considered as own capital and loan capital as well. Okay, own capital. Own capital can be categorized in three parts. One is equity share capital. In case of company, equity share is a compulsion. Whenever a company is framed, that time in case of limited company, equity share must be noted. Unless and until having equity capital, you can imagine for a company, for framing a particular company. Next, reserve and surplus. Reserve and surplus. What is reserve and surplus? In simpler sense, that is undistributed part of profit. That means at the end of the year, whatever profit earned by a business, if a proportion of that profit is remaining in the business, it is marked as what? Reserve and surplus. There is a preferential capital. Preference share capital. Okay. But it is also said that preferential holders, they are not the real owner of the business. Okay. They won't have the voting rights. That is why preferential capital sometimes also not considered in the category of own capital. Okay. Why we are using the term preference? That is basically based on two particular features. One is at the end of the year, when we are going to distribute profit among shareholders, we need to pay for them first. And in case of dissolution of a company also, when the business needs to pay back its capital to the suppliers, in that case also preferential capital prefers over equity share capital. That is why you are using that particular terminology, preferential capital. But remember that they are not the real owner of the business. In case of loan capital, if we categorize the loan capital also, there are two parts. One is debenture or bond. Debenture or bond. Another is commonly known as term loans of a business. These are the structure of capital. Right now we categorize equity share capital, reserve and surplus, preferential capital, debenture and term. These are the separate avenues the business needs to be choice depending upon the scenario, market condition and other factors. Now, to maintain such category of capital, whatever cost the business needs to incur, that is known as what? Cost of capital. In similar sense, I can say that in case of having a particular space, at the end of the month or annually you have to pay certain charges. That is basically known as rent. Okay, like we are acquiring a certain place for some specific point of time. Since we acquired that place, we are not the owner of the place. For the sake of that, we need to pay rent to the landlord at the end of every month or rather annual also. Similarly, since we acquired that amount of capital, we have to pay certain return to the supplier of such capital holders. And that is basically considered as a cost of capital. Like what amount we need to pay, what amount we need to pay back or return back by maintaining, by considering, by holding such amount, that is known as cost of capital. Now what is specific cost, that we are going to understand. In case of debenture, the cost is basically known as interest. To holding that amount, that particular amount, whatever amount provided by the debenture holder, based on that amount we need to pay certain return at the end of every year to them, and that is known as what? Interest. Similarly, if we follow in case of term loan, the return which we need to pay back, that is known as what? Interest. Then in case of loan capital, the cost considered as what? Interest. Then in case of preferential capital, what we return at the end of the year is known as dividend. There is basically no return we have to consider in case of reserve and surplus, since it is a buffer amount of profit. We doesn't have to pay any such kind of cost to maintain such reserve and surplus. And at the end of the year, after pay of all such returns, the profit remains to us. From there, we have to pay equity share capital. And equity share capital, the return of equity share capital we can consider in terms of what? In terms of EPS. That is what? Earning per share. Cost of debenture is basically considered as a KD. Cost of term loan we consider as KT. Cost of preferential capital also in general it is considered as KP. Cost of reserve and surplus, it is also considered as KR, and cost of equity you can consider as KE. This is the terminology in short. We can denote each and every segment of cost. Well, now at first we are going to learn cost of equity capital, or rather cost of equity share also. Okay, it is termed as I said, that KE. There are various formula or methods to apply cost of equity capital. I am going to discuss few of such. First, cost of equity capital can be represented as D by P plus G, where D stands for dividend per share in rupees. P stands for market price per share in rupees. G stands for growth rate. Such particular formula also categorized as a dividend growth model. Dividend growth model. Growth rate is conditional. It is not at all a compulsory item. It is depending upon the scenario we need to consider the growth rate. There is another formula which is also used to calculate cost of equity capital. That is E by P plus G. Again here also G is not at all a mandatory item. P remains as a market price per share. G stands for growth rate in percentage, and here you got only instead of D we are using here E. What E stands for? E stands for earnings per share or EPS. There are another method also which is mostly used in case of securities market to calculate the cost of equity. That is known as CAPM model approach. CAPM approach. What is CAPM approach? Full form of CAPM is Capital Assets Price Model Approach. According to that CAPM approach, cost of equity tends to RF plus beta RM minus RF. Okay, let me give the clarification of that. K stands for cost of equity, that is known to you people as I discussed. RF basically considered for risk-free return. Risk-free return. Beta is considered as a risk factor, and RM is considered as market rate of return. Market rate of return. All such return are basically considered in terms of percentage. Either it is a risk-free return or market rate of return. There are various methods to calculate cost of equity capital, but these three particular methods commonly used. One is dividend based value, or you can say dividend pricing model. This is earning pricing model. The formula D by P plus G. G is not at all mandatory item, it's depend. Okay, D for dividend, P for market price per share. Here it is E by P plus G, E for earning per share and P for market price per share. And another approach, as I said, that is CAPM approach. It is cost of equity equals to risk-free return plus beta factor within bracket market rate of return minus risk-free return. Now we are going to learn how to calculate cost of preference shares. Cost of preference shares. Formula of cost of preference shares is D plus RP minus IP divided by N whole divided by RP plus IP divided by 2. This is the formula of cost of preference share, redeemable preference share, of course. Now D. D stands for dividend per share in rupees. RP stands for redeemable price. Redeemable price per share in rupees. Redeemable price per share in rupees. Redeemable price means at the end of the lifetime, N is mentioned over here. N, that is the lifetime of preference shares. Lifetime in number of years. Lifetime in number of years. In case of preferential capital, as I said, that they are not the real owner of the company. There may be a specific time frame. After that, the company needs to repay the amount to the preferential holders, and that process is known as redemption. Now, at the time of redemption, what specific price we need to repay, that is known as redeemable price. IP stands for issue price. Issue price per share in rupees. Now one by one, cost of preferential capital D plus redeemable price minus issue price by N whole divided by redeemable price plus issue price by 2, where D stands for dividend per share in rupees, RP stands for redeemable price per share in rupees, IP stands for issue price per share in rupees, N stands for lifetime in number of years. That formula basically we are going to calculate, that formula basically we are going to plot at the time of calculation of cost of preferential capital. If all such informations are not available, in that case we are just going to calculate the dividend percentage rate as a cost of preferential capital. How to calculate cost of debenture? At the time of calculation of cost of debenture, almost we got the similar characteristics, a similar approach what we apply in case of calculation of cost of preference share. It is basically I1 minus T plus redeemable price minus issue price by N whole divided by redeemable price plus issue price by 2. I stands for interest per debenture in rupees. T stands for tax rate. T is basically stands for tax rate in percentage. that is T, tax rate in percentage. RP remained as same like preferential capital. It is redeemable price per debenture in rupees. IP stands for issue price per debenture in rupees. N stands for lifetime in number of years. Since it is a loan capital, when the company repay the debenture amount to the debenture holders, that time what price considered to repay, that price is known as what? Redeemable price. And issue price is as simple as that. At the time of issuing the debenture, what amount the company received from the debenture holders. And N stands for lifetime. There is also a certain lifetime. Based on that, on the basis of that, the company needs to repay or redeem the amount to debenture holder. Now look into these two particular formula in a comparison. Here you got the differences. In case of preference share, we pay dividend. In case of equity share, we pay interest. But this particular concept you have to understand. 1 minus T. Why we use that? Because in case of debt capital or in case of loan capital, we always have to make it after tax. The tax proportion, the tax percentage, we have to deduct from the specific return. That is what? Interest. That is, if you look into these two formulas specifically, you can understand the differences. In case of preferential capital, the amount which we return to them is known as dividend. In case of debenture, the amount which we return to them as a charge or as a cost at the end of the year is known as what? Interest. And according to the concept, interest must be after tax, and that is why we use that particular terminology. I within bracket 1 minus T. 1 minus T. Now, cost of term loan. Cost of term loan. How to calculate cost of term loan? The formula is cost of term loan equals to I 1 minus T, where I equals to rate of interest in percentage, rate of interest in percentage, and T equals to tax rate in percentage. Only these two particular factors we have to use. In case of cost of retained earnings, in case of cost of retained earnings, basically we won't follow any specific formula. Generally we consider that whatever cost of equity is provided to us, we follow the same cost in case of cost of retained earnings. Sometimes few basic charges we deduct, but it is depending upon the question only we can say. Normally, whatever cost of equity we count on a specific business, cost of retained earnings is also considered in the same. Let me give you people a brief whatever I have discussed till now. Capital, first instrument, suppose equity share. The cost is considered either dividend or rather earnings. In case of preference share, the cost is specifically considered as dividend. In case of reserve and surplus or retained earnings, basically there is no cost we can consider. In case of debenture, the cost is known as interest, In case of term loans, it is also known as interest. Now these are the capital and these are the specific cost, and once I follow the formula in short, in case of cost of equity, the formula what I give you will, in general it is D by P plus G. In case of cost of preference share, the formula what I told, it is D, again it is dividend, redeemable price minus issue price by N, whole divided by redeemable price plus issue price by 2. In short, there is no cost basically in that case of, in case of reserve and surplus. In case of debenture, it is KD. The formula is I 1 minus T plus redeemable price minus issue price by N, whole divided by redeemable price plus issue price by 2. And in case of KT, the formula is very simple, it is I 1 minus T. These are the formula. In case of equity share, even in fact you can plot the another formula also, it is E by P plus G. These are the concept of cost of capital. Okay, there is another concept in this regards we have to understand, that is known as weighted average cost of capital. What does it means by weighted average cost of capital? Whatever cost we calculate, if we make an average along with considering the weightage of instrument which is available in a particular capital structure, then we can get as weighted average cost of capital. Thank you.